Hey, welcome back. We're going to discuss AWS product pricing. As you plan, launch, and manage your AWS deployments, you want to keep costs within your organization's budget, and the budget's going to demand a lot of your attention. You'll need to understand how AWS bills for each of the services you're considering. You'll need to know how to quickly get your hands on accurate pricing information. So AWS has some pricing documentation. You'll get understanding about it soon, but we can definitely help you with that pricing information right now. Each AWS service has its own web page dedicated to pricing, as well as the information on the service itself. So example, you're looking at the S3 services, which is the storage service, file storage, object storage, AWS storage solution. So you would want to go, let me bring up a web page here, and let's go over here, and we'll go to AWS Amazon.com, AWS Amazon.com, and then /S3, because we're wanting to know about the S3 service. And so you'll come up, it has all kinds of overview, feature information, storage classes, and pricing. So we could have just got there by going aws.amazon.com/S3/pricing. And you should be able to do that with any of the services. So instead let's look at the compute service, EC2. Alright, so that's their servers, and we go to EC2 pricing, and it brings up the pricing information for EC2. And you got some different, and we'll get into this in more detail about the difference between on-demand and spot instances, and savings plans and reserve instances. But this is about the pricing, and so we'll just go to the on-demand here real quick. And so we've got here, and it's got a list of different instances, the hourly rate, right? So this A1.large is 5.1 cents an hour. So for every hour that you run this server, you're charged 5 cents, basically. And it comes with 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of memory, and it uses EBS for storage, and it has a 10 gig network connection, right? So you find all about the different instances sizes and that EC2, and you can see there's several pages of different types of instances. We'll get into EC2 a little bit more, but I got here by going to AWS Amazon.com/EC2/pricing, and I chose the on-demand. But I can also look at S3. Let's go back to S3, and then pricing. And so then it tells me that for the first terabyte, I get charged 2.3 cents per gigabyte for the storage. But this is where Amazon is very granular. So you pay for the storage, but you also pay for requests and retrievals. So depending on the storage class, right, it's a fraction of a penny per 1,000 gets and selects, right? Or if you're copying and posting and pasting, adding files, it's half a cent per 1,000. So you pay for the retrieval. You also pay for data, right? So all data in is free. The first gig out is free. and then it's 9 cents per gig out. So this is where it adds up, right? It is, on this data transfer, right? The storage was 2.3 cents a gig, but to actually use it and pull it out, it's 9 cents a gig, right? And then if you do any management or analytics, if you're going to replicate it into different regions, different parts of the world, right? So there's costs with that. And then some S3 object Lambda, which using the serverless environment, there's some things that you can do with Lambda, and then there's some the half a cent per gig data retrieval rate is that on that as well. But so you've got to be careful with the pricing. There's usually multiple costs involved. It's not just a straightforward, oh, it's 2.3 cents per gig, but and it is to store it. But if you're actually going to use it, then you're going to have some data retrieval and some data transfer fees involved in that. So it does add up, and so you've got to be very careful with the cloud services and make sure that you're accounting for all costs, right? But the easy thing is the the service / pricing. You can get to this information. We're going to go over S3 and EC2 in greater detail later, but for now, just know that we can get to the pricing just by going to aws.amazon.com/the service name /pricing. All right. Online calculators. There's another way to visualize our costs, and especially with the complicated multi-level deployment, it's just harder to visualize it piece by piece. So they have calculators here that you can enter all the parameters you need and to get your workload running, and then it's an easy to read itemized cost sheet out at the end, and it allows you to simplify your estimates, right? And Amazon provides 2 regularly updated modeling tools: the simple monthly calculator to help you understand what running any combination of AWS resources will cost you, and then the total cost of ownership calculator to closely compare what you're currently paying for on-premise service and what the same workload would cost on AWS, right? And so one of the calculators here, right, is this website here, calculator Amazon's, and let's just go there real quick. Let me grab that URL. I don't want that. Why did it not copy? There we go. Alright, so here is the simple monthly calculator, right? It's that URL. And so we can do our Amazon compute. We can add a new row, add a description, number of instances, and we can pick our instance size, say a C4 large, right? And on demand, so monthly is going to cost us $243.61, if we run one instance, right? If we run 5 instances, it's going to be 1,218 and 5 cents. All right, and then of course the EC2, that's just the servers, but we need to add some volumes, right? So if we have 5 servers, we're going to have 5 volumes, and they're probably going to be 20 gigs, or if they're Windows, they're going to be 30 gig volumes. So we're going to need that. Let's see here. EBS, EC2, snapshot storage or backup storage. We'll go ahead and do the 150. All right. Let's say we don't need any elastic IPs, and then we're going to go transfer data. We're going to do 10 gigs of data out. And all right, so it's got our bill is $1,394.25. So the amount's up at the top. Let's go ahead and add. I'm going to add one more EBS, and we're going to do 20 gigs. And so yeah, so it's updating our bill here up at the top. Only the EC2 has a monthly cost column. All right, but so you can go in here, and so that's the EC2. Then we can add S3 storage, right? So if we add 50 gigs of storage, and we'll just say it's 50,000 requests and 500,000 gets, and so I mean it doesn't really add a whole lot because it is pretty fractions of a penny for S3. But let's go to 500 gigabytes. All right, so that added a little bit, but we're still only at 1,400. Right, so even if we have millions of requests, I mean, added about $30. So I mean, it's pretty affordable. But you can go through each of the services, add a service, and you can come up, whatever you need for your workload. Find the service, add it in, and figure out what your total bill would be in the end with the solution when you had all the services added. Like if you needed a database, right? Adding a 100 gig database, total of items of reads in the millions. This is million reads, right? So let's say it had 5 million reads, and item size is, we'll say 10K, and number of items written per month. We did 5 million reads. Let's just do 1 million writes. So I mean, it's pretty affordable. I mean, we're still only $1,400, so we haven't added $100 yet. But there's a lot. Oh yeah, our transfer out of region, right? So let's do 50 gigs. So yeah, that still didn't add too much. But anyway, you can and then you can add backups, add whatever service you want, and you can do the calculations, and it'll give you an idea about how much your solution's going to cost you. And once again, that's the URL is calculator.s3.amazon.aws.com/index.html. So that's the simple monthly calculator. Once again, it gives you the total at the top, which is a little counterintuitive, but yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, I pretty much went over that. All right, service limits. So besides pricing, we also need to know that there are some limits that Amazon imposes on us, right? For instance, you're only allowed to run 20 on-demand and 20 reserved EC2 instances of the M5 large instance type at any one time within a single region, right? So if you need more than 40 EC2 M5 large instance types in a region, you would probably have to send in a service request and say, see about getting allocation for more. Or you might just create another account because that's by account, right? Each account is limited to 40, right? 20 on demand and 20 reserved. You're also only allowed 5,000 users, 300 groups, and 1,000 roles. And we'll talk about that when we get into identity access management and security. But each account has a limit of 5,000 users, 300 groups, and 1,000 roles. So, but groups and roles are soft limits and can be increased up to 500 groups and 5,000 roles. You just have to request it. So most service limits are soft or adjustable, meaning that you can manually request that Amazon increase a limit on your account. However, some limits are hard and can't be increased no matter how long you threaten to hold your breath, right? It's not going to change. There are hard limits, and you can find the complete up-to-date list of service limits on the AWS document page, right? So it's here, this right here, this docs, AWSamazon.com general latest GR AWS service limits, right? So if we go there, alright, so list of AWS service quotas, and so you can open the service endpoints and quotas page, and so you can find out what are you looking for, right? So let's go to like EC2, right? Alright, so service quotas, attachments per transit gateway is 5,000, client VPN endpoints per region is 5, right? Classic elastic IPs are 5, right? All kinds of limits, right? So, and that's EC2. Let's see if we can go to IAM. Alright, so identity access and management, IAM. That's our where we deal with our security, right? So groups per account 300, right? Access keys per users 2. MFA devices per users, a multi-factor authentication device, which I highly recommend you enabling MFA on any Amazon account that you have, and we'll go through that as well. But you can only have one device set up for your account, for multi-factor authentication. All right. Users per account 5,000. All right. So, and it's not adjustable. That's a hard limit. All right. So you can only have 5,000 users, and there are ways to use Cognito and some other things where you can use other authentications like Active Directory or that, and use roles, so you can limit the number of actual users you have. All right. Okay, so that is what we're going to cover in this video. In the next video, we will cover billing and cost management. See you in the next video.